Back from the dead are those letters that are hard to kill. TNA. It's back. Frankie Kazarian resurrected the brand from the bottom of a swamp and unlocked Pandora's box. And inside, it were those three magic letters that contained a press release that read, TNA will launch 2024 with Hard to Kill, Saturday, January 13th. Scott D'Amore. We still hear the TNA chants wherever we go. Fans have longed for TNA wrestling, so that's what we're bringing back in 2024. TNA wrestling, we're back. Company officials confirmed that the new year will launch a new look TNA wrestling that runs from the entrance ramp to turnbuckles in the ring to larger, more prestigious venues. Ouch to the venues we've been running, and much, much more. Further details on TNA wrestling will be revealed on Tuesday, October 24th, when D'Amore sits down for an exclusive interview with Tom Hannafan that will air on Impact's Facebook page starting at noon Eastern time.
I mean, this seemed to be the biggest headline coming out of the show on Saturday now. And
this was, I should say, like, this was met with a ton of positivity. Like, it is amazing the value of nostalgia. Even like a few years ago over a WrestleMania weekend, they did a TNA nostalgia show, and there was definitely some buzz attached to that one too. But this one, like, this is a company that has certainly been able to overcome the stench that was this brand that this company had. And this seemed to be a pretty like welcome choice by the company. Do I think it's going to make a big difference? I don't. But for this pay-per-view, will you get some curiosity buys to see what this show looks like, what is different? I don't think it hurts.
I mean, they kind of have my curiosity, you know, as somebody who pays a lot of attention to maybe like public messaging and branding. A name change alone isn't going to do much, but it could be the sort of nice gift wrap, you know, in front of like a larger package of changes, which they seem to be promising with a whole, you know, overhaul of their aesthetics, venues, and who knows really what else. More prestigious venues. Correct. Yeah. So I think it's really interesting because not often do you hear about brands like reverting back to an old name, especially one that I think has been met with, you know, like kind of mixed reaction over the years, like TNA. But you're right. Like
I'd say largely negative over the years. It's only switched. I think now that you do have some audience that they grew up with TNA on Spike TV, and maybe some that also did not live through TNA, which had its good, but had way more of its negative than positive.
So I would contend that maybe as much negativity as the TNA brand had, you can argue the Impact brand had even more of it. You know, certainly pre-D'Amore. I think, you know, a lot of the Hogan era with the change initially to Impact branding still comes to mind. A lot of the, you know, F that owl sort of era still comes to mind attached to this as well. Whereas I think TNA, yeah, you might think about some of the bad, but I think a lot of people still like largely think about the good. They think about the X Division. They think about, you know, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, the Knockouts, you know, or you know, Awesome Kong and Gail Kim. So
you're sort of taking the good and just excommunicating the bad that people associate with a Hogan Bischoff era to a Dixie Carter, etc. And I think trying to, polish what is now, you know, a very significant tool in wrestling that is nostalgia, and that I don't think you can build a company around. But I would say the positive to this is their biggest issue, I think, is just trying to make any kind of noise that's going to signal attention. The key is when people come and check out your product, are they impressed with what there is? And I do believe this is a very good product. I enjoyed this pay-per-view quite a bit. And if there's a fraction of people that tune in to this pay-per-view or to the television, I think it's overall, it's a pretty good product, and it looks like they're going to be making significant upgrades to their look. But again, I think all of the limitations that TNA Impact, they still exist under, that's not changing. This is not going to upgrade their television position. This is not like some massive star that's coming in, but it's an attempt at publicity. And I think they need to be trying things because they're at a level, and it's a very, very hard game to get out of this level.
Totally, totally. From all accounts, I'm not a weekly viewer, but I did catch portions of Bound for Glory, and I mean, if they continue to be the home of a match like Speedball versus Will Ospreay, the only thing that's really missing is just getting people's attention to know that they're presenting this sort of match, or even an Alex Shelley versus Josh Alexander. They are delivering, like, I think, satisfying quality for audiences that choose to watch them, but they just need to get the word out at this point. And maybe a name change like this, maybe a change of to more prestigious venues, is the type of shot that they need in order to get some of that extra attention.